up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none.
First, I'm going in with this NYX White Eye Pencil, and I'm going to outline where I want my wound to be. Once I know my placement, I'm going to take makeup wipes and remove all of the makeup in that area. Next, I'm taking my Glamglow Supertoner and a cotton pad, and I'm just going to make sure that any moisturizer, leftover makeup, and any oils are off of my skin. Now I'm taking Graftobian's Modeling Wax. I'm taking small little pieces and rubbing it in between my hands, one to make it into like kind of a round shape, as well as start to heat it up so it is more pliable and I can make it into the shape that I want. I am then pressing each small section of wax onto my skin and making sure that the outer part is as seamless as possible. I am now giving it a coat of liquid latex. This is going to help it stick as well as help it harden so that when I mess with it, it doesn't just completely come off or completely lose its shape. I'm going to be able to touch it and move it a little bit, and it's not going to completely lose its form. Now I am taking some Vaseline and covering my eyebrows with it so that any liquid latex and any products we're using does not destroy my hair. I am now taking this round cotton pad, applying latex to the outer corners, and then putting it over my eye. Once that is placed, then I'm taking more liquid latex on a brush and just making sure that the outer corners are secure and it's not going to move and it's in place. Now I'm taking the end of my tweezers. Normally you'd want to use like a little makeup spatula for this, but I have no idea where mine went. So this was the next best thing that I had, and I'm pretty much just raising all of the inside corners so that it looks like, you know, torn flesh, which is pretty much what we're going for. Raising this up is also going to help give us the depth that we want. Now that that is raised, I'm applying liquid latex onto the inner corners just to help solidify that so that doesn't start peeling off and moving. Next, we are taking cotton balls, applying a little bit of latex first, and then putting down a little bit of the cotton. You want to pull the cotton apart from each other and just put little pieces on at a time. This is what is going to give us the texture that we want. Now before I moved on to the rest of the face, I took my Mehron black paint and made sure that my eye was completely blacked out before moving on. Once we have the cotton on, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to really paint precisely how we want it. So I went ahead and just stopped the cotton, went and did this, and then went back and did the rest of the cotton. Once I have all my texture down, I'm going to go lift the edges of our little flaps again, just because we are using so much liquid latex to lay down our texture that some of it got onto that, and I just want to reinforce our flaps. That sounds so weird. Next, I'm going to be setting it with Graftobian's face powder. I think that says face powder. That's what makes sense, but the writing was a little bit worn off. Now I'm going back in and reinforcing the black on our little iPad. Next, we are going to be inputting color. I'm going in with Mehron's Red Fantasy Paint, and I'm going to make sure that we are going in with a very, very bright red to begin with. This is what's going to give us our base, and then we're going to start working with those darker colors. Now I'm going to start working with Graftobian's alcohol palette in the palette called Injury, and I'm just going to take the darkest red color and I'm going to start filling in the little crevices because that's really what needs it the most. And then I'm going to move on to covering anything that's in here that's still a little bit white, as well as just darkening the entire thing in general. Next, I'm taking my sponge and lightly going into the alcohol palette and pressing it a little bit onto our little flaps just to give it kind of a little irritated look. Now I'm going in with Mehron's Coagulated Blood Gel, and I'm bringing that into all of our little crevices. Once I have that blood placed, now I'm going to be going in with a brush and really just blending it out and making it look more realistic. I am also starting to place some of this onto the rest of the face, especially covering anything that's still a little bit lighter in color. Now we're starting to work with blood that does not really dry, so it's really going to give us that wet look. Now moving on to Mehron's Stage Blood. This stuff is even grosser and wetter than the coagulated blood, so this is really going to give us that bloody, wet, gross muscle effect. Now moving on to Mehron's Blood Splatter. This is kind of an extra step because, you know, however this girl's face got this way, you know, you're probably not going to see too much blood splatter, but they sent it to me. I wanted to use it, so that's what we did. This next step, you're really going to want to be careful with because I'm starting to cut into the liquid latex that is technically attached to your skin. So you want to kind of just put your scissors in there and kind of start lifting it before you really even cut it so that you don't cut yourself. But here I am just making room pretty much for the mouth hole so that we can place our teeth inside. Now I'm just covering the inside of that with black paint and a little bit of blood. Now for the teeth, I used Instamorph. You can read on the back of this packet how to use it, but pretty much you just melt this stuff and then you mold it into whatever shape you want. So I just did like a long tubular, almost a straw type shape, and then once it hardened I just cut little pieces off so that it was like kind of rectangular like shapes for teeth that you're seeing here. To attach those, I just used some liquid latex, let that dry for about 30 seconds, and then I started placing our teeth in. Once the teeth are in place, I'm going over with another layer of liquid latex for two reasons. One, it's going to solidify them so that they don't move, as well as it's kind of dries in a weird yellowish color on top of the teeth, and that really just gave us a good look for gross teeth. Now this step, you want to be even more careful. Obviously, this is actually pretty dangerous. I did not plan on doing this step. I planned on at first just having this blacked out eye, but I realized I want to wear one of my contacts and I'm just not liking the way that this black eye looks. You know, it protruded a little bit too much. It didn't look like it had much depth. So I went in and I just cut out an eye hole. I was going to say that you could leave out the whole eye patch part to begin with, but then realizing later that it still was pretty necessary because when you end up cutting the little eye patch out, it really leaves you a lot of depth within the eye, where if you didn't put that there at all, you wouldn't have depth because there's nothing to cut out. Now just a little finishing touch, I'm putting on some mascara so that my eyelashes are dark and the overall look is just black as it can be. So that is it for this demented, gory Bratz doll look. I ended up just recreating the Bratz look that me and my cousin Kristen Leanne collabed on back in I think like January or February, and because I really loved how that look turned out. So then I'm just like, all right, I want to do the same one but make it gory. I had a lot of fun doing this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Go to my Instagram to check out me and Becca's collaboration on this look. She did just a cute little Halloween Bratz look where I did the gory version. And we are also doing a pretty cool little giveaway. And good luck to everyone that enters.
Pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and a giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and a giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shit, you might